Okay. All right, welcome everybody to our June 25th board meeting. Hopefully everyone is having a great summer so far. We will start the meeting here at 7:37. And I will go through our agenda. So as always, our agenda is on board docs, which you can access through our website, through our governance page. And tonight we are going to do the normal where we were review our meeting minutes from our May 14th meeting. We'll also have, if there's any public comments out there, we'll have a time for that after this. Public comments are 3 minutes for you to have any input on the agenda we're going to cover tonight. We are also going to have Heather's admin report. And within that, I believe, let me go over to that, we're going to have some operational updates on building, a recap on our goals so far, and also we have a couple votes here on E-rate and a new PTO president, which is very exciting. We also have as a special topic a review, or I guess a format for the executive director's contract or the way she's evaluated. Is that correct? Or
Yeah.
is that okay? So that's our special topic. Heather, are you going to cover the financial update? Are we going to need a financial? Okay, so Heather will cover the financial update. I don't know if Karen is on. I don't know if
She's not. She couldn't attend today.
okay, and I don't think we have anything going on per se with the PTO. It's summer, so
Right.
okay, so we don't need that section. Then we'll move to a committee updates, and then any progress on our goals, and then Stacy will close us out with any wrap up.
Yep.
And then we will adjourn.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's move to public comment. So again, as I mentioned, please use the chat. We don't have any public in the room, but let me know if you have any public comment tonight. I'm not seeing any. I think they're. Kate, did you see anything? I haven't seen any thing pop up in the chat.
I'm not, although do you want to add me as co-host? Because I think I'm just seeing.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me to do that. Yes, I will do that. Find Kate. Nick. Okay. You are now my co-host to manage the chat as well. All right, so I don't think we have any public comment. So we'll move right along and go to our minutes from May 14th. They are out there. I actually also made them viewable with a header of not approved, I think I wrote. Since our discussion of last board meeting of allowing the public to follow along.
I've moved to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I second that.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
No. All right.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. So that was.
Is Kate the only one on here now?
We got Kate, Scott.
Okay.
Scott.
Okay.
So we have
1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
okay.
I just was like, I was starting to.
Brett's not on. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, my file froze up for a second. All right. So I guess we can move over to Heather for the administration team's report.
Okay. So really there's not a whole lot as far as operational other than construction starts Thursday. So all the permits have been approved. Yes. And so I have to really do a shout out to staff as far as our custodial, Stephen, on the move over. We got the furniture moved over to the high school as far as middle school stuff, and then cleaning out the 2 rooms that we're going to do construction, plus try to do everything else. So that it definitely couldn't happen without them. So hopefully, right now, we're still on track to be finished a week before school starts, to be able to move those over. So do not
Big cushion.
I'm hoping. So that's kind of the big thing that's been at the front as far as operational right now. Other things just working on with administrators. I think, as I've mentioned before, they have a procedure guide that I have given them for different areas such as communication, instruction, operational, and we will have an admin, we call it admin retreat, but we'll have that in July where we'll finalize those documents and then from that develop our action plan of areas that we want to focus on. So we'll be able to present that to you in August as far as next year's action and big rocks and goals. So that's the biggest operational thing. The other thing I know, Kristen, you had mentioned the community agreement. And so one of the leads on that was Eileen. And she actually said they just finished it this month. So I have attached that, and I think for everybody, even out there to see. So the plan, and I don't know, Eileen, if you want to talk a little bit more about it, as far as like they're still working on creating the implementation plan. Is there anything you want to add, Eileen? She's probably like, why are you putting them spot?
It's a friendly crowd.
Yeah. Hey, Heather. Hi guys.
Hey.
Yeah, the team just kind of wrapped it up. There was some back and forth about, if we could kind of get an image or some type of like visual representation to kind of go along with the work we did. I think I talked at a board meeting a few months ago and just said how we really used the parts of peace that we use in the classroom, and we kind of use that as a guide with our community agreements and the way that we would communicate as a group. So that was a great guide. So Heather shared that document with you. And then the next part is just kind of how we're rolling it out. So Kathy and I have talked about rolling it out during like a community meeting with families at the beginning of the year. So we're still kind of getting those details finalized, but I'm glad you guys can view the document and appreciate all the work that Alicia and everybody on the team put into creating that document.
Thank you.
Excellent. Looks
Yeah,
really
I
good.
just was wondering where that had kind of landed, just so, in terms of like using and referencing going forward, where do we want to fold that in, and how do we want to let our community know that, hey, we can have, this doesn't just apply in the classroom, but this is for everyone.
Well, she brought up a point that we didn't really think about, before, was the communication forum piece, right? So it sounds like the school admin will be hosting some sort of communication forum in the fall. Is that what you guys are planning?
I think they're still working on that. Like, how do we do that with families and what that would look like besides our typical meet the teacher and that kind of things, and how we would work through that piece.
Yeah, I mean, the board, I think we'd love to partner if there's any piece of it that you would like us there for, or support on that, or a board component, for families where they could come if it was in person, if it was at the high school or whatever it is, like, feel free to loop us in if you would like, if you think there would be a need or a piece or component to that for the board to be there and answering questions, or.
It's kind of like, what does it mean to be part of our community? That whole, what does it mean for students in classrooms? What does it mean for parents, teachers, right? How do we best work together? I think that's part of the spirit behind all of this.
Absolutely. And as you're saying that almost feel like breakout sessions. So you would have this, we could talk about the operational side of things and our needs there. The volunteers could be like, what are the expectations with that and whatever training that looks like. And so that could happen in breakout session.
Yeah.
And we could do that a couple of different nights to ensure everybody had an opportunity to participate. So that's something we'll think through and what that looks like.
Thank you.
And then I also sent you all kind of the wrap up for our action plan, and just the biggest things, like things that we met, things like, for example, if we look at the first one was high quality instruction, the goal was the 2%. We hopefully will have all of that finalized in August this year if we met that goal. There's some data that I'm really, really happy about so far, and there's some that I'm like, okay, we really got to focus on that next year. So working through that with administrators. As far as LTSS and having the entire system, we're not there yet. We're close, but we do have a new LTSS coach starting with us. And that's going to be one of my personal big rocks, is working with ESE and LTSS. Feel like I haven't used my prior knowledge and all of that I have experience in. And so I really want to work with our new coaches, Francis. And I want to work with Francis and then the rest of the team to develop a system that we are ensuring that students are moving along the way they should. And so what that looks like. Tier 1, again, that the goal was looking at our test scores. So once we get that and that instruction piece, we did have a 12% increase in the number of students in 3rd grade through 6th earning level 3 or higher in ELA and math. But we really want to dive into that data and be able to share that with you all. Safe and healthy culture. So one of the goals was around LTS behavior. And so the goal was all staff are trained. We've had several staff PDs. We brought in some outside people to look at behaviors, but I think that's something that we're going to continue always to focus on, because we know not every child is the same and we don't want to treat them that way. So that's a goal that we will continue to work with. One of the things we're restructuring our mental health program. And so we are looking at, we currently had 3 social workers. We are looking at either changing one of those jobs to be more of that school counselor piece, where they can go in and work directly with staff as well on real-time behaviors. So our social workers are phenomenal. I don't want to take away from that, but they do a lot of that one-on-one, and we really need to be able to keep kids in the classroom. And so how do we coach through that? So that is going to be a restructure for next year around behavior. Giving out the survey, we have those results, and those have been circulated. And so we'll use that to continue to grow the program next year. And then creating community. And one of the big things was discussing the move from middle school. And I feel very, very confident that we're going to have a smooth transition next year. I know Leanna has worked really hard. She's kind of been put in the trenches until John got to come on today. But she has been working with the staff to develop plans and systems to make sure that safety is our #1 priority, but then also instructionally. So that is moving right along. And then the last one was around communication. And about the first one was communication and parent education. And Stephen has done phenomenal, that we've already completed several training, or I'm sorry, not trainings, but videos for parents. And so we want to expand on that next year to complete some trainings. We've also had some staff that's done some parent trainings on Montessori. And so that took place throughout the year. Website, we wanted that up and running, and that's completed. And so that goal will be removed. And then it goes back into transitioning. And I really feel comfortable. I know we're going to have some hiccups along the way, but overall, I'm excited to see what this program is going to be. And then transition to the permanent location for those 2 classrooms. That's like construction's under the way. So overall, I'm very, very pleased with our action planning. There was some goals that I had hoped personally to meet, but we kind of worked on some finance things. So, and we'll talk a little bit about that goal in the finance section, but that's kind of our action plan wrap up for this past school year. Don't have any questions about that?
It's a lot of progress.
It is. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but honestly, it's the team that I have. I couldn't do any of this without the team that I have. Yeah. They're phenomenal. Yeah. And so Next thing, I'm actually going to turn over to Stephen. And again, I want to brag on Stephen. He was able to work through E-rate, which is something that we haven't had in several years here, and obtain us $40,000
Yay.
for the next school year that we'll see throughout the school year. So,
Good job, Stephen.
yeah.
Excellent.
So one of those things is we do have to have a policy in place, an internet protection policy. So Stephen, would you like to share what that is?
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody.
Yay.
So this is something that I know we qualified for E-rate in the past. So I am sure that this board approved one at some point, but it's a good idea to go through it and update it again. It is in your packet. Heather sent it to you. But this is the Children's Internet Protection Act policy. This is something that the feds require us to have, and it's required to be approved by the board. You do it once, you don't ever have to do it again, as long as we don't lose the actual policy. All it says, and you can review it all, but it vests me as the director of IT with the ability to manage and secure our student network. All of these things are things we're doing already. So you're not agreeing to anything different. And it requires me to come back and report to the board, which I will do through Heather, best practices, any additional support that we need. That hasn't ever been an issue at all. But we're just actually vetting it on paper. The only thing that I noticed when I was kind of reviewing it, and it was my fault, I sent it to Heather with the wrong date on it. The last part of it talks about adoption. And I have in here, it was adopted by the board on June 11th, because I thought that was when our meeting was going to be. So I would ask you to go ahead and approve the policy with just that addendum, and I'll make that correction. Any questions about it or any concerns?
Where does this fit in? And you may have mentioned this to me before with all of our software review pieces, where we have to review every single piece of software that students are using. Is
Sure.
that part of it?
So this is part of that. I sign off on every piece of software that our kids get access to. That is something that Heather's been great about this year is making sure that we don't buy anything until I rubber stamp it. The reality is that this is a policy that every school has to comply with, even if you don't get E-rate. So all of the software that we're ever going to use is already vetted through that.
Perfect. I don't have any questions. It's good to me.
Yeah, it looks similar to something we reviewed
I think
last
so as well.
summer.
Marissa, I couldn't remember if we had all the right language in it last summer. I know we looked at
Okay.
something. This is actually from the feds. This is the bare bones of what they want. Some of them are more extensive. We didn't need that because we're a smaller school. We're not a huge district, and just like we always have, if there needs to be a change or something like that, Heather will come to you, or I will come to you and ask you to support that, whatever that is.
And I do have a quick question. In just reading through this, I'm not seeing anything, but maybe I'm missing it. Is there anything specifically about like protecting student data or anything around that kind of capture of student information?
To comply with the act, it isn't really protecting their data. There are other federal laws that provide for that, which we comply with.
Okay.
This is specifically to protect them from accessing unage appropriate content online.
On their school devices, yeah, okay.
Yep, the law is really narrowly defined that way.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Yep, we go one step beyond that in our acceptable use policy, which all students have to agree to and which we teach. Leanna and I do that at the beginning of every year with the middle and high school kids. Our acceptable use policy exceeds what the federal guidelines are. So, and then we deal with remediation as we have it.
Do I have a motion?
I guess I will motion. I will motion to approve the Children's Internet Protection Act policy as presented to the board.
With a date of June 25th.
Okay.
Second that motion.
That was Scott?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It does kind of sound like you changed a little bit.
Yeah, he did for a
Yeah.
second. I was, wait a minute.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
We just make sure Stephen has a copy of the internet safety policy that we did adopt last summer.
Mhm.
And make sure that these are consistent with each other. This is a much more narrower scope. It's for a very specific purpose, but in the event that the internet policy that we did last year, that covers more things like bring your own device and some other things,
Mhm.
if it's inconsistent, we should probably change that one to match up with what we believe.
This one.
Okay,
So, and Stephen will speak that language in a way that we don't all speak the language.
right.
I wrote both of them, so I think that they're pretty consistent, but I will go through and I will review it, and I'll actually send the board an email tomorrow and just outline if I find anything.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That was in September, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
August, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, around there.
You guys have such a good memory.
I know.
I'm like, what happened yesterday?
I was reading it. I was like, this looks really familiar. And then I somehow I saw it was, yeah.
That one was done because of new state.
Right.
The laws have
Remember
just
that now,
changed, yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing is Stephen did write that one too, so.
Yeah. Consistency helps.
Yeah. I put it here. I wasn't sure the PTO president. I'm not sure if that falls it, but so I guess.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, but.
Okay. All right. So we have a Karen as our new PTO president. I guess this was an action that we do is we approve the,
Mhm.
and she sent a video that she's unable to be here, and we watched the video of her interest and her desire to be the PTO president, and I
She
was
was the
really,
vice president all year, right? Wasn't she the vice president all year underneath Sarah?
I was the vice president for half the year. She took over when I came to you guys.
Okay, there we go. I was
Yeah,
like,
Kate
I
might
thought
know
there was
the
something up there.
leadership
Okay,
structure better
thank
than
you,
us.
Kate.
Yeah,
I
think
thought
she
there
You're
was
welcome.
something
Yeah, I
there.
wasn't
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I liked her thoughtfulness, and she already has like a focus that she wants to go after with incorporating
Yeah,
more
it's great. I mean,
teacher
it was
input.
a extensive video that she shared and,
Yeah.
you know, gave us a lot of background on her and what she's planning to do, and I thought that was very helpful, so.
So I remember maybe it was our May, I think it was our May board meeting where, Sarah mentioned that will be happening and gave her support, right? So I feel like that's always very telling, right? So. Does anybody have any reason to not move forward?
Move to accept the election. Aaron?
Okay,
I second that.
okay.
Awesome. Anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Woo-hoo, Karen, wherever you are. When you're listening to this.
Yes. Karen will be
Alright.
requesting the PTO update be moved earlier in the night.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they have not requested. Sarah's
Yeah.
just like hung out with us until like 10,
Yeah, we felt we could do that. yeah,
but
we
like
don't
to
have
get
let
them out of here because they are waiting, and that's really the one piece that they need. We should maybe look at that scheduling piece
Mhm.
next year, just for their own consideration of them, and their time and dedication that they've already put in.
Yeah.
All right. So then, anything else? Heather, is that's
No, I
think
think
that was
that's
it.
about it.
Okay. So that moves us to our special topic, the executive director review.
Yes. So I put together a little document there. It's very similar to what we have done in the past, but I just wanted to be real laid out and clear for the evaluation process for the executive director position and what we would be using and compiling, and set specific dates and goals in there for that process. So like I said, it's very similar to what you've seen before with the teacher survey results, and then the portfolio piece in there, where there will be a self-reflection, a reflection on school goals, and then that succession planning piece. It will also include that end of year data, right? The school scores and the testing that happens, and the comparison of those scores from the previous 3 years. Now, in this case, right, it's just gonna be 1 year from one executive director to the next, but to compare the data and the growth there for the school. So that anything that we think needs to be added to that or changed with that evaluation to move forward for the executive director position for next year?
The one hyperlink didn't work for me.
Let me look at that.
It said it was like virtual schools
Let me see.
access.
Okay.
To the Danielson form.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can change that.
How similar is it to the current one that we used for this past year?
That,
Any big changes?
no.
You've been using that.
This is pretty
Since
much
I
what we've
can-
been using.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
wanted to
but-
like put it out there,
Yeah.
review it, just be clear cut. That way she has it from the beginning to know, so that way it's just
Mhm.
approved there. I don't think we need a vote on that. I just wanted to have a discussion to see if there needed to be any edits there. Does anybody else have any edits? The Danielson comes from Charlotte Danielson. That's
Okay.
just a form that is utilized by the principals, and that's what they currently use. So that's
Okay.
the familiar evaluation tool for them now. So I'll correct the link and send it to you with the new document.
Sure.
But that way you can have that to post. But
What's the cadence of like the surveys? I know it kind of has popped up of like different surveys because Karen mentioned the PTO does a survey. I guess I just for if we could quickly,
yeah.
I'm just a little confused on.
So the school puts out the panorama in April, March. Yeah, and then they do one, I think, in the fall too. They have the student one that
Mhm.
goes out in the fall to like just check on like student health or some, like that piece.
Mhm.
But that's going to the students. That one's going to the parents, right? This one would be going to the teachers.
Got it. Okay.
So there is multiple surveys going out, but it's for different groups.
Okay.
So it's not like the same group is getting hit with 3 different surveys. And that was I'm assuming your thought process
I
there?
just heard like pockets of surveys. I didn't fully understand how they all
Mhm.
like connected.
And we still have to use Panorama. They looked at trying to, and that's
Oh,
why there was
did
some
we move away
issues with
from
that, but
that, or-
you had to use, we still use it, right? We're not getting rid of it now?
So here's what, I'm not sure we're gonna keep it.
Okay.
So they had written it into their mental health plan last year for this upcoming year.
Oh, okay.
So actually Kathy has contacted OCPS for guidance around that, like what do we have to have? Because if I can use something that's not $6,000 or
Yes.
$5,000,
Yeah,
then that's what we're gonna try to do.
okay.
So we'll have the mental health plan for you to review in August.
Mhm.
But right now,
Okay. So I don't know, it doesn't even say Panorama in here, and I think I
Mhm.
specifically left that out because of that.
Yeah.
So whether it's a Google form or
Mhm.
whatever we're utilizing to collect data on that, once we get it set up from the Panorama, we'll just try to
Mhm.
make sure it stays consistent each year for validity purposes.
I'm sure we have access to Microsoft Forms from Microsoft Suite.
Yeah, Microsoft Forms, we could just use that. That would be fine too. All right, and then the other piece today, where we probably do actually need to have a vote, or an agreement, is I wanted to discuss the contract for the executive director, moving into the next year. I have the current salary that was listed last year was a 110,000. I think that, we want to look at potentially at minimum a COLA increase for that contract for next year. But I would like to take that further and discuss based on performance, based on additional results that have been received this year, based on success of the school and moving in the financial stability direction, that we need to increase that to probably 5% instead of 3%. That would be where I would want to push to see an increase in the contract for the ED position. Thoughts?
I agree. I agree with you want to incentivize performance, and there's
Mhm.
been an amazing performance, and yeah, it's been a heck of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been accomplished. It's
Yeah.
obviously tangible.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I agree with that as well. I think, in terms of expectations coming into this school year, into this new role. I think Heather has far exceeded, our expectations, taken on more challenges than probably any of us anticipated. And to your point, the results that we've seen have been tremendous, and the stability and the financial, just acumen you've brought to the table has just been fantastic. So in my mind, yes, the cost of living adjustment would be appropriate, plus just recognizing and making sure we're incentivizing that ongoing performance and retention. So I'd be
I definitely
in
support
favor of
that as
that.
well.
I totally, albeit limited months, totally agree with that based on everything I've seen with performance, what I'm hearing. I couldn't agree with that more, to incentivize that. So I agree.
Everybody's in agreement, 5%?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I just?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah.
Because I know we're in a financial, I feel guilty for doing that. Could we make it the 3 and then you just give me an extra week of it? I just feel so guilty. Like I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really do.
Mhm.
But I feel so guilty taking from the organization when I know, I don't know, I just do.
We appreciate that, but we also need to maintain and keep and retain you.
Yeah.
And
I
we
know,
also
but-
need to make sure that all of the hours that you are putting in, which is above and beyond what anybody even knows,
Yeah.
needs to be recognized.
I mean, I do
So
appreciate it.
yeah.
I just feel like deep in my soul, I feel so guilty
Yeah.
asking.
I would be fine
Or
to
not.
increase a week of vacation and do the 5%.
No, I don't need that.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's do both.
I appreciate it. I really do. I don't want staff to feel like I'm taking, you know what I mean? I really value the staff we have here, and I just don't want it to be that anybody gets the impression that that's why I'm here, because I truly do want to see this place be successful.
We know that, and we think that's why we value you, and we
Thank
want to
you.
show our appreciation for you as
I
well.
appreciate
So
that.
yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely us giving and making sure that we're making the right, frankly, business decision for us as an organization to ensure we've got that longer term leadership stability in the organization. And we need to continue to build on the success and the foundation you've created in this past year. So I think it's totally appropriate. I know it puts you in an awkward position, and every time we've had these conversations in the past with the ED, it's always, uncomfortable,
Right.
but
It's board decision and not the ED's
I
decision.
know. I do feel so
Yeah.
good.
So
I would make a motion that we renew or extend, or I don't know how we're positioning this as an extension or renewal of the executive director's contract with a increase for cost of living of 5%.
mhm. And an addition
Second
of
that.
5 weeks to 6 weeks. What is
That's
your-
PTO.
Uh,
PTO.
I think right now I have 4 weeks, right?
Oh,
I think.
total after 5 total. Oh, yes, it is only 4 weeks right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So an increase from 4 weeks to 5 weeks.
I probably won't use it, but hey.
One more cruise.
I still have days left now, but
Yeah.
Your husband will take it.
yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Well, and you could break that down to Fridays or something,
Yeah.
or a long weekend, or, to see the girls, right?
Yeah.
Like there's pieces in there where
Yeah.
I just want you to understand that we recognize the amount of hours that you put in on a weekly basis and the amount of work that this year has been. So I think that this is just a small way for us to support that and
Really
and share
appreciate
that.
And I
Right.
do love this place. I
Yeah.
really do. There are days, I know Stacy's probably like, oh my gosh, here she goes again, that I just need somebody to unload, but it's really a special place. And I have to say this, I couldn't do it without the staff that we have here. Like, the people that are behind the scenes nobody knows how hard they work. Like,
Right.
I am so thankful to have all of those behind the scene people.
Yeah.
they make this place run. Like our teachers are important, I don't want to sound like that, but our custodians, my business, HR, Steven, like all food service, like everybody, secretary, they're just phenomenal, and we're very fortunate to have them.
Good culture. It's good culture. All right.
Second.
Okay. Do we need a remotion?
Nope.
Nope. You got it. All right. All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries with an increase of 5% and an increase from 4 weeks to 5 weeks vacation time.
Can I have one more thing? It goes till June 11th. Do you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
extend that to June 30th? So
Yes.
you're not stuck in a mid.
Yes.
I mean, that's up to you all.
Yeah,
I'm
let's-
saying.
Yeah. I mean, I have the contract, so
Okay.
I'll edit it and,
Okay,
and send it to you to sign.
I think Alicia would be happy with that because she's like, this contract, because she's keeping all of them. She's trying to see when they expire.
Yeah, we can adjust the time to
Yeah.
the date from June 11th to June 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That would be
works.
great.
Hey,
Alicia says thumbs up.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Alicia.
She is on it as far as
Give you a
making sure all
thumbs
that's done.
I called my fingerprinting people, Alicia, today and got all taken care of. So thank you for that tip too.
Yeah. She's on it.
Didn't even realize that. All right, let's see
So we'll-
here.
at the finance.
Finances?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just share a little bit today from the finance meeting. We had the meeting today. I was really pleased with where we are at. We discussed our payroll and what that looks like as far as pay period, especially with it landing on a Sunday this year. You know, do you do July 1st? So Raphael, who is on the phone call with us from Building Hope, is going to reach out to Kevin, who's like the senior, just to make sure what we need to do legally. I don't want to hurt like staff being a day behind, but I also want to make sure that we're doing the right thing falling on a Sunday. We talked about all of May reporting, and one of the most impressive things was that our expenses are aligned exactly with our projection, and Raphael would indicate that he typically never sees that, like how close we are to what we projected. So I'm really excited about that. We looked at the P&L and then the budget and balance. We did talk about the timeline and formatting of the finance committee meetings. I feel like this year, you know, we've had transition and then never really seen a true format. So that's something that I would like to get with the new treasurer whenever that happens, to say what do these meetings formats need to look like, and go for there. We talked about the review of the budget again in October and possibly February when we get our numbers. We looked at the days cash on hand projection and debt service ratio, and right now we're projected for the 30th to land at 46 days. So we're hoping that that stays true of where we're at. As far as ESSER, I finished submitting all of ESSER, the 80% category. So we have a little under 400,000 or 500,000 left to be reimbursed. I did reach out to OCPS and ask Kia if we could get that put through, and she did, but we just haven't seen it yet. So she'll put it through her department, but then it has to go through another one. What I am happy to report is we're still really close without that money.
Oh.
So I am happy with that. And so that money, we have just been, Lily's been great, just kind of hiding that away into our savings account. And then the goal is that we don't, that's just kind of part of our 45 days cash on hand. And so, again, behind the scenes work in February, we're 18 days cash on hand, and now where we're
That's
at.
crazy.
So it is
Yeah.
really impressive, but a lot of hard work on a lot of staff that talk about extra time. They're definitely putting into making sure. We talked about ensuring that our coding is up to date. In Charter ACE, that's the system that POs and stuff like that is going through. So they'll close out the books on June 30th. They said probably 2 weeks into July, and then we're going to make sure every person is coded correctly, every expense is coded correctly. So then every month I'll be able to give to you specific reports that are not just arbitrary numbers that you'll be able to see, and we're sure that our expenses are lined up with what we had projected. We do know, and I'm already prepared for July and August to see a dip in revenue or in, what's going out and versus what's coming in. But that happens from what I see trending every year because of school supplies and all that kind of stuff. Then it will steady itself out. So, I am preparing myself for that. We're definitely going to see a decline, but then bounce back up. So that was today's finance meeting. And then I did meet with Moody's and talk through with them. We're going, Building Hope is going to run a few more reports and get them that information in mid-July. And then we'll be able to know more. The auditor has already started. We've been uploading documents for them so that we'll have that in time, for the state requirement.
For the cash on hand, has that been moved? We talked about it before, but to a money market, so it's getting more
Yes.
interest now.
Mhm.
That's in a
Yes.
place where we're building.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in our money market account now. Like I said, we're just
Not touching it, but just building. Yeah, good
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did resolve the 990 statement. I was able to go through lots and lots of files and find that it was filed. So I sent that off. So that is taken care of, but we probably do need to talk about the Montessori Foundation and if we're going to keep that, because that's something paperwork wise, we don't have an extra account for it. So we don't have a bank account for it. But is that something that we're going to keep, that foundation and all
Oh, I
that?
see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I'm not sure a 990 was filed this year for it. Because to be honest, I didn't know about it until I got that paper.
The purpose of it, right, was to be a place where donations could be placed, right, for bigger
It's sort of
donations.
separated from
Right.
operational.
So that you were doing
Yeah.
stuff for the foundation, but it's never been utilized in that manner. And I don't know that we're in a place where we're gonna utilize it in that manner this year. Could we always open it up at a later time? Or is it, we have to close it with the state? Not just the account, but the whole like foundation itself with
Because it's
the
a
state?
nonprofit, yeah. Right?
Or can we put it on pause, close the bank account?
Well, we don't
have a bank account.
Oh, okay.
There's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
no bank account.
Yeah.
It's really just the entity.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna continue to maintain the entity.
Cause we have to pay a fee to the state for that, right?
Can we talk about that and talk about it next month?
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you. one-on-one about
Okay,
that.
perfect. Oh, that would be great.
I think we
Um,
got a determination letter for it, which is like a big thing, costs a bunch of money and takes forever.
Okay,
So you don't wanna lose it and then have to
Yeah.
get it back.
okay.
Right.
But if we're pretty sure that on a 5-year horizon, it's got no use for us and just costs us $300 a year, then
Right,
Yeah.
let's talk about.
Okay, perfect.
opportunities.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the other thing I did find out, in one of our meetings that we're gonna have to open up an account for food service to be separate, for state funds that we receive. So that'll be something that we'll just have to create an account for. But I do want to do some research on, do we want to stay with Wells Fargo?
Mhm.
Because, as of now, they still don't have a business credit card, and I want to get away from using our debit cards and those kind of things. So that's something that we may just look at transitioning,
Mhm.
altogether, but I definitely I'll bring you all in the loop as we get there.
For the food services account, with the school, when students buy lunches, would that school pay account have to be attached to go into that food service account, or that's just the funding? from
That's
the
just the
state?
funding from the state.
Okay.
So we just found that out, that has to be a part
Okay.
of it, but we didn't know that before.
Okay.
So. That's it for finance.
Okay. So Karen is not on, so we will skip PTO update. There's no update this summer. All right, so that gets us to committee update.
Mhm.
I know, Kate, the grants committee is on pause. I did put
Yeah.
some updates in the public area. Let's see. If you go to board docs, put a little blurb out there, again, trying to be transparent to public. Okay, so where we're at is we are continuing to get our monthly donations through the summer, even though we, are have communication. So we're averaging about 870 in our monthly donations. And then if we don't get any new donations and we end our cycle at Giving Tuesday in November, we will wrap up with $17,783. That's if we get no new donations. So close to $20,000. But obviously we have like 5 months to increase that. And so development committee, we meet on a monthly basis, and some of the ideas, some of the things coming up is as we get back into school to provide a communication update on, hey, this is, because we mentioned there were benches purchased, just kind of explaining the plans for the money or what's been done in alignment with like what our goals were for our current annual giving, right? And so again, that was the research books for IMO and the library, in the library's plan. And then the culinary program at the high school, and then the outdoor benches were the things that we communicated for this cycle. Also, an item that came up, and it would be kind of a quick one, but in Kathy's or just our weekly newsletter, just have a banner. We've learned like just constant like awareness, and just it's already on our website. It would just be a link so that it's the ease of access for continuing donations. And then Zephy, which is the tool we use, is a free tool for nonprofits, also came out with an online raffle functionality. And I went to the webinar and it's pretty cool. And so I thought it has potential to be another energizing option as we're trying to like get to our goals as we get back to school, where they showed just different case studies of nonprofits using it as a 50-50, and it's all just online, right? It's a landing page. You set like the ticket price and they purchase their ticket, or there's items, right? And so you can set it up and have your items that they're bidding for in a period of time. So
They did pretty well with the color run. I think they had a raffle component with a color run that was like an online.
So a lunch with the principal or something
That's pretty
attached to
good.
that.
Yeah. It's always been pretty.
Yeah, I think the color run one was, I'm trying to remember. I think they had the items there, but then you like scan to buy your tickets. Yeah, we were definitely looking at digitizing that as well. So yeah, I think that would be awesome if that's available through Zephy.
So anybody out there listening who wants to join the development committee, we need some bench strength. There's a lot of good ideas, but I know everything takes effort and time. And then Mr. Caleb, I always called him Mr. Caleb because he's a teacher, but I think I don't know if he's on. He said he was going to try and join. He's a wealth of knowledge. As before he came to IMO, he was a fundraiser for the Boy Scouts. So he drafted what I have out there. We discussed kind of a light version of a gala that would not require expending down payments for a venue and all that. So it's there for you guys to look at. He put quite a bit of work into it. And it would be more of like a 50 to 60 person event, and it would be utilized more to kick off our next annual giving. So it would be a focus on getting those larger donors that we kind of now know about from our first annual giving. And then his goal is to like leave the meeting with like reaching half of our annual goal by the end of that dinner is like the big goal there. So that would be, another big planning process. So if I can get, someone to help and lead with that, I think that could come to fruition along with everything else.
Yeah.
But so
Very robust proposal.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking that as well. Absolutely. Were they hoping to host it at IMO, like at the high school or something on campus, or were they thinking of hosting it off campus?
I didn't ask that specific question. I was assuming off campus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of little venues around here, like, the Winter Garden Little Center down by the lake. There's a lot of different places that could be utilized, I think, to host something like this, that we would maybe be able to work with them. I don't know of anything specifically in Ocoee. To be honest, we talked to Cindy about it too,
Mhm.
like the place where we'll get graduation.
I was going to say the same.
Yeah, that would be a perfect
Mhm.
location. It's right there by City Hall.
Mhm.
The
That's
city works with us, I
yeah.
think, because of who we are.
Mhm.
And
I can't
it's,
remember how much, but I can look. into it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cindy's
the goal would
launching the
be to
note
have
off the top of her head.
everything donated. Well, I mean, obviously the plan can change, but
Yeah,
there wouldn't be necessarily
No overhead.
ticket price, so we
Yeah.
want no overhead. So the ask is when you're at the event that it's pure donations and a raffle or whatever
Mhm.
coming out of the event.
So no tickets, okay.
And
I
how are you
mean-
gonna cover dinner? Like, if it's a-
Yeah, so that's another in-kind donation. So the idea is smaller population, more focused population that's board would be very involved, and then
I got you. We would provide the support.
yeah, and so then, okay, so sorry to kind of get like detailed into it, but
Yeah.
his vision of how it works is you kind of have a pre-meeting
Mhm.
with table heads, and so these are selected individuals that have already given,
Mhm.
and we include them on, we would like you to invite people at your table you think would
You
be
buy your
interested.
table, like, right, like that's kind of how.
Bring in other people that would be other good donors.
Mhm.
And then part of it is recognizing or an award
Mhm.
for someone for service. Past board member or somebody. We
Yeah.
would kind of like look at like what that would look like and include
Mhm.
those table leads. And so it's kind of like
Yeah.
getting their input for the event. But
I think I like the idea of like sort of a small sort of cultivated group that is probably gonna
yes,
generate something.
exactly.
Because again, the goal is fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the timing?
Um, so I'm sorry, I was reading Cindy's text or her message. So we finish out this cycle, right? We would kick off another cycle in Giving Tuesday. We
Mhm.
followed that rhythm, and so then it would be like a winter event.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Well, no board meeting in December, so now we
Mhm.
give a little bit of time for Tuesday.
There we go.
Or Friday.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice little event.
Mhm. Like a holiday.
Winter Wonderland kind of theming, always works out nicely.
Make it
Something
Florida
cold
winter
sounds
time.
good right about
Anything
now.
cold.
Maybe we'll have to say.
put fake snow out.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. What do you need from the board?
Yeah, I'm just hoping to get some more support on that development committee. The last meeting it was me and Caleb, and
When do you meet?
we meet actually the same day as the finance committee. We
Okay.
just meet in the evenings.
Okay.
We meet like 8 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those new prospective board members.
I know that's what I
Yes,
was thinking.
yes,
is
there
that-
was some interest.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who is with us today?
Who is with us today?
Any of our new perspectives.
Where's the W? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see Walter on, but I know that he had gala experience and was specifically interested in helping out with that.
Yeah. And then there was this one? No? That one? Trying to remember.
Leslie was on PTO with me.
Oh, no.
No, I don't see.
Uh-uh.
No, she's not that.
Yeah, so yeah.
No.
Well, you know what? I'll reach out to the prospective board
Yeah.
members and invite them
Yeah.
directly to see if they
Yeah.
I think if
that.
you have a specific task that you want to drive a date for, and
Yeah,
that'd be a good way to see if
absolutely.
they're gonna step up.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that wraps us into our, I mean, I don't know, Stacey, you have
Oh,
anything
yes.
else in presence update?
Yes. So a couple of things. Obviously, we are in summer, so I hope everybody is having a wonderful summer with their families and enjoying. Oh, do you want me on camera? Enjoying the time together and the time away from school. But I also hope that there's some reading going on and some cooking and some measuring, right? So that we're staying strong with our summer skills so that we don't have any slip and slides. So we're ready to jump back into things in August. That's the teacher in me always going to encourage you. We had a good working session earlier this evening where we really kind of started solidifying our goals, our board goals for the 24-25 school year. So we will be able to share those out for our next agenda. So that is good. And we also want to just take a moment and recognize a couple of people who this will be their last time with us this evening. First, I want to just reach out and recognize AJ. So AJ has resigned from our board, so we will be looking to replace a treasurer position. So if you are interested in that position, please reach out to me and let me know. Obviously, we are always looking for, board members as we are flowing with the succession planning. So definitely reach out to Marissa or myself if you have any interest in joining our board. So we wish AJ all of the best, and we're hoping once his littles are here, he will be back and we can snag him again. So that is my goal. And then today we really want to spotlight the lovely Kristen Chase, who has been with us for 9+ years, from PTO to the IMO board. She came into, when I started almost 5 years ago with the board, I don't know what I would have done without Kristen, right? I think every single one of us kind of go through that stage on like, where do you go? Where do you train? How do you sign up? What do you do? And even probably our new board members, there's so much behind the scenes organization, communication, like the HR that exudes from her has just really supported us through some highs and some lows and some in-betweens, over the last few years. So I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate all of the time and training and support that you've put into each of us to continue that succession training and planning. I think you have done an amazing job training Marissa and to kind of lead the path there. So that legacy alone, I think you've just shifted it right along. So but we appreciate you. We appreciate all the time and the effort that you've put into the school. And it is what it is because of people who like you who have just dedicated hours, endless hours, being willing to, I wrote in my card to you, laugh, cry, and and somewhere in between too with some of the things that we've done. But it's a passion project and it truly shows. So thank you. So
Yay. Yeah, I'll just add, now that I've assumed what Kristen's been doing, like, it's been amazing that I don't know how you have all the time that you did to like give what you gave to the school. It's amazing, and it's a blessing that you gave to
I
us.
sent the emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a night owl.
Yeah, and I think now we're at a point where, we look at the campuses that we have and, thinking about, again, they come from the strip mall and, starting from those just very small days, it's like, we've done what we've set out to do and more, and we are continuing on a path, and I know that you all will, take this forward, and I'll be hanging out at the high school and you can see me there, as needed.
Get your volunteer hours.
I'm doing my 20 volunteer hours very diligently, so.
No person's excluded anymore.
I know, I didn't get the board by. But seriously, it's been a great experience, and I know that it's a little strange to think that I will be coming to these board meetings, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
Your payment for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Well, we appreciate you and we wish you all the luck and all the additional, focus time with the kiddos and, being there a little bit more for them.
Life.
So, yes. So, but thank you everybody for coming in here tonight, and have a wonderful rest of
Wait,
your
hold on.
summer.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
one more.
Should we introduce John?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Good.
He's on.
Oh, he
but-
gets on. Okay,
Yeah,
I
he-
just need to.
Yeah, but.
Up on there, I think.
Oh, good call. Go.
Well, wasn't me, Leanne.
Well, she said he was in the car, so.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if he was driving, so if he's.
I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Hi, John.
I made it home safe just before the rain.
Okay, good. Well, do you want to introduce him, Heather?
Sure. I don't know, John, if you want to show your face, but we are
Hold
excited
on.
that Dr. John Pagnotti, his official start date was today. So he got to spend the working session here in person. We're extremely excited. He's actually been working the last couple of weeks with us, even though it's not been official, to ensure that the transition is smooth. He has an extensive background in administration, but also what I'm probably most excited about is he has, while it's not been Montessori experience, he truly believes in our way of teaching and learning. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do with our secondary program. So you'll definitely have an opportunity, families and community to meet him in person, but I expect great things with him. So, and it looks like he was trying to connect. So
There he is. There's Sean.
there he is. Okay, there he is.
He made it home.
Sorry about that, guys. I tried to turn on my camera and apparently I just got off the phone. So sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm so
Awesome.
happy to be here. Thank you for having me tonight. And yeah, I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys to keep on doing something special.
Well,
Thank you.
we're excited to have you, and
Yay, welcome.
lead us through a new transition with the middle school and the high school coming together and building that community and that culture. So I think you are going to do an amazing job with that. So we're excited to see that.
Thank you for the vote of confidence. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks. Happy day one.
Yeah.
Happy day one. I made it.
All right. So I guess we will adjourn at 8:39. We
Okay.
did like an hour and 9 minutes. Wow. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.